Hey, welcome to this lesson. It's about making an argumentative essay. Today we're going to talk particularly about how to make an evidence-based claim. Now, first, in order to make a claim, we need to have a topic, right? So for your essay, I provided you with a specific topic that for 9th grade classes is, we're talking about censorship, right? Should the government have the power to decide what we view, what we see, and government-sponsored bodies such as schools or public libraries, should they be allowed to decide that? For 10th grade, the topic we're looking at is immigration. Should the United States change immigration laws to make the immigration and citizenship process easier and smoother for the people that want to come to the United States, and why or why not? So what we're going to do today is the first step toward actually writing that, and we're going to first write our objective. I can create a claim based on evidence. So hopefully you're writing this in your packet as well. I'll know I've got it when I can create an evidence-based claim on a quiz. So this is leading up to CFA 1, right? So create a claim on a quiz. So if you're having a hard time creating a claim for CFA 1 or creating claims later on and some of these other things like creating a thesis statement, we have some other worksheets that we're doing. This is a good thing to revisit. I've hit this several times. So first of all, let's define claim. It is a statement of your argument on a specific topic. So write statement of my argument. Claims should have 3 elements. First, they need to be provable. Next, they should be assertive. And third, they should be specific. So first, when we're talking about this provable, this is where we're going to tell somebody why they should do something. And that why needs to be something based on evidence. To tell somebody why, you need to use the word because. And it also needs to be relevant. So for example, if I say, you should give me food because I'm hungry, that might be relevant to me, but is it relevant to you? Does my hunger matter to you? If it does, then maybe you'll give me some food. If it doesn't, then you probably won't. Here we have this over here in the PowerPoint, we have bottled water should be banned because it is bad for the environment. So here, all we have to do is prove it is bad for the environment. A non-example would be say bottled water is good for the environment, because that is something that's not based on evidence. It would be very difficult to prove that because there's no evidence that shows that it's true. Now, provable because. Provable claims have a valid provable reason attached to them. We should eat salad because studies show it is healthy. So first of all, I can use evidence to prove this, right? I say studies show, and also healthy is a relevant reason to why we should eat something. So now, is this provable or not? So I'm going to read it. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to think, and then I'll give you the answer. The U.S. government should admit that the moon landing was a lie. Do you think that's provable? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'd say this is not provable because this is a conspiracy theory. If there was solid evidence that the moon landing was a lie, then this would be a common knowledge. Provable or not, teachers should not give homework to students because studies show it isn't beneficial for student learning in most cases. So here, what do you think? Yes or no? Provable or not? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you said yes, you'd be correct because I could use studies to show that it isn't beneficial. I give students homework, I see there's no progress on them learning on the test. That shows that the homework itself was not beneficial. Provable or not, apples are better than oranges. Think about that. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, how can you prove that apples are better than oranges? well, first of all, this claim doesn't give me a because, right? It doesn't tell me why. So that leaves it up to the reader. We don't want to do that in your writing. You want to tell people exactly what they should think so that you make sure they get the point, because otherwise they might just not, and then they'll just disagree with you. Also, this is an opinion. There's no verifiable evidence that apples are better than oranges or that oranges are better than apples. Provable or not, blue is better than red because blue is the color of the sky and the ocean, and red is the color of anger and violence. Do you think this is provable? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this one's a trick question because on one hand we have because. So is it written as a provable claim? Yes, and it actually provides facts. The color of the sky and the ocean is indeed blue. Red is the color of anger and violence. It's often associated with those things because of the color of blood. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that one is better than the other. The problem is this evidence that I've given is not necessarily relevant. You see over here, it needs to be relevant. So not only because, but also we need to have it be relevant. The death penalty should be illegal because it is more expensive than life without parole. So what do you think? Does this claim pass? Is it provable? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So here I would argue that this is definitely a provable claim. You can prove that it is more expensive than life without parole. Now, whether or not it's relevant depends on the person. Are we choosing penalties because they're expensive or less expensive? Or are we choosing penalties because they're just or less just? What justifies the kind of punishment we should get? So that's an important philosophical question that your reader would have to answer, and you'd have to help your reader answer in order for this to be a very good claim. All right, we're going to skip some of these, so let's move on to assertive. What side of the argument are you taking? So the government should enforce policies to reduce pollution. This essay talks about pollution. So here, for example, the government should enforce policies to reduce pollution. So over here on my notes, I'm going to write should. If I use the word should, I'm definitely taking a side of the argument. It doesn't have to be provable or specific for it to be assertive. So for example, I could say, you, give me your chair. Okay, so that was definitely, you should give me your chair, right? You should give me your chair. But I'm not giving you a reason why. I guess I am telling you who. I am telling you what. But it's definitely assertive. So schools give standardized tests. Is this telling someone to do something? Is this assertive? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you said no, you would be correct because there's no should. Schools give standardized tests is a neutral statement of fact. Unlike in informative writing, where we want to maintain a neutral voice, argumentative writing needs to take a stance. We can't argue for a specific idea or a specific action if we don't take a specific stance. Assertive or not, some people like to play Pokemon Go and some people don't. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But once again, if you said no, that'd be correct. This is not assertive. There's no should in the sentence. Nobody's trying to convince anybody to do anything. This is just a neutral statement of fact. Here, assertive or not, should the U.S. federal government regulate prescription drug prices? Is this assertive? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you said, it is because there's a should, see, right there? I would like to point out this right here, a question mark. If I ask someone something, I'm not being assertive. I'm not telling them the answer. I am asking them a question. If I go to a donut shop and say, should I get donuts today? That's not me telling them what I want. That's me asking them what I want. You need to tell people what you want, not ask a question. Okay, assertive or not, the U.S. penny should no longer be circulated. Is this assertive? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we do see the word should right here. It's in the middle of the sentence. It's not a question. This is an assertive claim. Is it provable though? We don't have a because right here, so it's not written as a provable claim. So this claim could still be improved. Last, claims should be specific. What exactly do you want us to do about the idea? So for example, Citizens of the United States should petition their government to make tobacco in any form illegal because it causes harm. A non-example, tobacco causes harm. So, as I'm looking at this, specific claims tell us who, citizens of the United States, and what, petition their government to make any form of tobacco in any form illegal. This is a pass claim right here because it has a should. It has because, and it has who and a what. So here, so for specific, right here, let's write on your notes, you should write who and what. So is this specific? Uber and Lyft help people get places if they don't have a car. Does this claim pass? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. While it does give us a who and they do something, it's not assertive, so it's not a good claim. It doesn't pass. Congress should pass a law to raise the voting age to 25. Does this statement pass? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So hopefully, I hope that you noticed it does have a who, Congress. And it does have a what, raise the voting age to 25. What it does, and it also has a should, so it is assertive. However, is this written as a provable claim? Have we said because and given relevant reasons for why this should happen? We haven't. So this statement doesn't quite pass, but it's still a pretty good claim. Every citizen in the United States should protest against the treatment of animals in zoos and agitate for their release into nature preserves. Is this a specific claim? Does it pass? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, first of all, is it specific? Who? Every citizen of the United States. What should they do? Protest against the treatment of animals in zoos and agitate for their release into nature preserves. So you can see this is definitely assertive. It has a should. It's definitely specific. It's got a who. It's got a what. But it's not provable. We didn't put the word because and provide relevant reasons. So it is a very good specific claim, but it still needs some reasons attached to it. Okay, so make sure that you provide all three of those things, and also make sure you avoid things like generalizations. Drugs are bad, school uniforms are unfair, social media is bad for society. You need to have very specific things that you want people to do. It can't be general. See, general and specific at the same time. So avoid generalizations. This is bad. This is good, right? The U.S. should regulate the cost of insulin because it costs an arm and a leg. This is an example of a cliche. Cliches are not specific. And so we need to make sure we use clear language to communicate with our audience. What does an arm and a leg mean? Are people literally giving arms and legs? No. A cliche is a type of figurative language. Here, nip CSD cells in the bud. You probably don't even know what that means. That's an example of why we shouldn't use cliches as part of our claims. Should Halloween be moved to Saturdays? We went over this, but this doesn't pass the test because it's not assertive. We're not asking a question instead of making a statement. Now, here, pollution is bad for the environment. That's obvious. Everybody knows pollution is bad for the environment. That's not something you even need to prove. What you do need to prove is what we should do about the pollution being bad for the environment. Why should I eat less meat? Or why should I decrease my car travel? Why should I fly in an airplane less? I like flying in airplanes, right? In order to make a good argument, you need to advocate for a specific action. Okay, so making claims from evidence. So here we're looking at your evidence-based claims worksheet. So step 1 is we're going to read the evidence. And that's over here. You see you've got 3 pieces of evidence over here in the box. Step 2 is we're going to interpret the evidence. That's this over there. And then step 3 is you're going to write a claim based on the evidence. So that's going to go over here. Now, if I'm going to go ahead and push this over here so you can see it more clearly. Governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. 30% of Americans did not vote in either 2018, 2020, or 2022 elections. 2/3 of non-voters agree that the statement, voting in elections has little to do with the way that real decisions are made in our country. So we can tell the topic here is about voting, right, and government. So, so voting makes it just, right? Justice comes from people being able to vote and have a voice. 1/3 don't vote. That's a lot of people that don't vote in the United States. Here it says they believe that voting doesn't influence decisions. Okay, so now based on those, I'm going to make a claim for my essay. So we need to think, first of all, who could do something about this? Should it be a government? Should it be a public interest group? Should it be schools? Who should do something about this? So I think that something might be good. Let's do the government. So let's say the government should fund a public education campaign to help reach out to non-voters because that was really bad because 1/3 of Americans are not consenting via vote, making our government unjust. So that is one thing you could write for the claim. You could come up with your own idea. If we look at this next one, what we're going to do is we're going to practice looking at some keywords, right? So if I look up this first quote right here, 60% of middle school boys and 40% of middle school girls played at least one M-rated game, hit or beat up someone, compared to 39% of boys and 14% of girls who did not play M-rated games. So here we see 60 as compared to 39% and 40 as compared to 14%. We're talking about M-rated games, right? That's the main idea. We're talking about kids who hit or beat up someone. So kids who play M games, mature games, are more likely to beat someone up. Right? So, so as I look at this other thing here, I can see a recent experimental study conducted in real-world motivated parents to change their children's media diet by substituting pro-social programs in place of violent ones. This study found decreases in aggression, and overall improvement in overall behavior. So this is saying decreases, so they change their children's media, right? No violent programs. So less violent media equals less aggression. So then look at this third one and try to summarize it and then come up with your own claim over here. Someone should do something because something else. Then you can use the rest of this to practice making claims. If you're doing this at home and you'd like feedback about whether or not you're doing it correctly, feel free to email me and let me know, and I'd be happy to work with you.